Hey everyone, as always, Dylan, Miller Prospecting. Now if you saw the last part 1 of my challenge between the Gold Rush Nugget Bucket versus the Gold Cube, running some Lynch mining material. And not a little bit of material, but 5 gallons of their Belmont. So if you saw the first part, you saw my results, you saw I found over 8 grams. Now I put the gold all back into material. I then classified it down to 1/8 of an inch, which got me this material. And this is about 1/3 of the way full. So I guess it's about the same, maybe a little bit less actually than I had with the Gold Rush Nugget Bucket. But as I complained about in the Gold Rush Nugget Bucket video, I got a lot of smaller material because the classifiers on this are really chunky and clumsy, and they don't really work as well. This one, when you're using these little screens, work really, really well. So all this is 1/8 material. I should not find gold or anything else below 1/8 in this, or if I do, it'll be very, very minuscule. So this I will pan out and show you the results, and then this is the material that I will be feeding into the Gold Cube. And we're gonna see if it does superior, how it does, and how much gold it recovers. So, without any further ado, let's get to it. We'll listen to some music while I clear through this material. And hopefully I get different results, or better results, because I always want more gold, so hopefully it finds more. That just blew a fuse. Alright, I had some technical issues, as you saw. I don't know what happened, I blew the fuse on something. But the Gold Cube is up and running, and I'm going to start feeding it some material. And this should be a lot quicker than the other one, so I'll pick some shorter songs for you to listen to. And I'll be right back while I plow through this material. And I'm going to try not to make a mess. I tend to spill a lot. I'm going to try not to do that. But alright, now listen to some music. And I will turn on my fan because it is hot again today. And again, another 90-degree day. So I'm going to turn on my fan, let y'all listen to the music, and I'm going to plow through some material. All done with that. As you can see, in the middle of it, the Gold Cube shut off again. So I hooked up. I wasn't sure if it was my regulator getting too hot or if it was the Gold Cube pump. So I hooked up something else to the regulator and it worked fine. So it's the pump. Something's wrong with the pump that it keeps shutting off. I don't know. Kind of sucks. It's only the 3rd time I've used it, and it sucks that it's having issues already. It is the actual one that comes from Gold Cube, so I'm going to have to go out and replace that one, I guess, before I shoot any more Gold Cube videos. But it did manage to finally get through all the material, so I will be right back. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go clean this all up. That is one thing I will say that the Gold Rush Nugget Bucket is a lot easier at, and that's the cleanup. All you have to do is take out the little bowl and you're done. You know, take out that. But I'm going to take this out because I want to see how much material, because this was full from the gold, and I want to see how much material is in here. So I'll be right back. You'll show up on my white table in a minute, and I'll show you all the material I got out of this. So I'm going to go clean this up. Be right back. All right, before I go, I wanted to show you, I just started taking about the gold cube. Just took it apart. I'm going to show you all the gold in it. As you can see, that's the one thing that's wonderful about the gold cube is when you open it up and you get to see all that. So, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pry apart these two. I'm trying to be careful. And we'll see if there's anything in the bottom one. And I do see one little piece right there. My finger. One little piece right there. So, don't see any anywhere else, but I do see some rocks now. There's another piece right there. So, alright, well I'm going to go see what this caught. Hopefully it's more than 8 grams. It better be more than the Gold Rush Nugget bucket, or I'm going to be forced to pan all that material out. So, alright, be right back. Alright, back at the work table, and as you can see, we'll try to hold this a little bit sideways, but there's very little material in here. I mean, it just moves some to the side, but you can see the bottom. I mean, there's not very much in here. So I don't remember how much all the nuggets weighed up and then how much the gold weighed, but the majority of it is in here. Now, I will say I saw a problem with my gold cube, that it looked like it might not have been set up correctly. It had a little gap in the edges. And I don't know where they came from, because when I originally set it up, it was right. So I reran everything. So it's been it's been a minute since I was outside. I reran everything. I cleaned the mats first, then I reran everything just to be fair. So then I showed you pictures of what it had captured in the first and second tray, and this is all of it. And as you can see, this is all the plus 1/8 material that I will pan out. As you can see, there's one of the pickers right on top. So that was one of the that's the really thin, ugly one. So I'm going to go pan all this stuff out. I'll come back and show you my results and compare it to what I found with the last one. Well, just finished panning everything out. I have my sheet with all of what I found from the Gold Rush Nugget bucket, and we'll add on to that what we found from the gold cube, and then we'll decide from there which one was the winner. So, much easier to pan out the concentrates from the gold cube versus the Gold Rush Nugget bucket. And it was only about maybe 1/10 of the material. The larger material, the plus 1/8, was about the same. It was about 1/3 of a bucket. So that changed nothing. It was just the concentrates. The gold cube does concentrate it down much further than the Gold Rush Nugget bucket does. So, but let's get into what I found with the gold cube. Again, I found these 4 nuggets, the 3.512 grams worth of gold. We'll just put that right here. Oh, I need to put something on my scale. Now, for what I found in the Gold Rush Nugget bucket, as you can see, I found also 0.7 grams of fines in the screened material, which you should not be finding because that's stuff you're just going to throw away. In the gold cube, I did find some gold in the plus screened material, but it was very little amount. It was just 2 pieces. That's it. This one, and then a little bitty flake right there. That was it. A little fly poop. That's it. 2 little pieces. And I'm not going to complain about it. If you only find 2 pieces when you're screening out 5 pounds of gold, that's pretty good deal. So I'm going to add these 2. This. All right, and now though, for the minus material, this is what I got out of my concentrates from the gold cube. And again, as you can see, a lot of gold. But how much gold? Well, let's find out. Let's weigh it all up. So I'm just going to add this in here. Oh, I need to just do the fines by themselves. See, it's so hard to remember what I have to do in this one. So I need another little tray. And let's put all these fines into one. Let me tell you, this was much easier to pan out again, as I said. There's very little concentration. This was almost all gold, and you know, there's almost as much gold as there was dirt. All right, well, let's weigh this up, see how much gold we recovered. I should recover almost 5 grams if I want to beat the numbers I got off of the Gold Rush Nugget bucket. So let's see. Let me zoom this in for you. Well, there we go. 4. And I still have to weigh this other stuff too. I forgot about that. So I need to weigh up the material. So let's get 4.838. That's what we'll call that. And find. Now let me weigh up those 2 little pieces I did find in the plus material. Nothing. It's not even going to register, I don't think. Here, we'll just let me reset it. But I don't even think it's going to register on the scale. I mean, it's so minuscule amount. Just that one little piece. All right, let's see. Oh, it does. Well, we'll call it that. Oh. Give it a second just to make sure. Let it finish up. We'll call it 009. All right, let me unzoom you out. It's still on 9, so we'll call it at that. So 0.009. So let me do some math in my head. All right, so grand total, the gold cube recovered 8.359. So not a huge difference. I mean, you're looking at 1/10 of a gram difference between the gold cube and the Gold Rush Nugget bucket. And that's not too bad. Again, though, in reality, the 0.7 would have probably, you would have lost it. If you were out in the field, you would have lost that. So there's, you know, a 0.8 difference really. But, you know, you'd have thrown this away. But, you know, it's still not that bad considering the price between the two. I mean, the Gold Rush Nugget bucket. But I'll be right back. Let me go out to my shed, show you the 2 pieces of equipment, and tell you the differences that I found in them, the issues I had, the problems with them, and so on and forth. So be right back, and I'm just going to give you my final thoughts, the totals, and what I thought of them both. So, in the garage with the equipment, let me go through a couple things about these. Again, the totals, 8.208 grams, 8.359 grams. So, a difference of 1.5 or 0.15. So, not a huge difference if you captured all the gold. The problem, like I said, a couple things with the Gold Rush Nugget bucket. The screen. I really don't like this screen. I don't know if you'll be able to see this here. I'm going to bring it in. These mesh, they're very far apart. I mean, in between each hole is essentially another square block of hole. And that just, it just made it really, really difficult to actually clean out the material. I mean, it was a really giant pain in the butt. Other than that, and the fact that, you know, it's hard to use. Because the bucket is so light and portable, you know, it's really hard once this is loaded with material to actually classify it, I mean, with one hand. So you need two hands, but the problem is when you're classifying, you also need to be dumping water into it. So that makes it a two-person job. And that's kind of a pain in the butt, especially if you're going out there by yourself. You know, not the easiest thing. You know, typically with a bucket, it'll be full of water and you're just holding the bucket and classifying. This one, since it doesn't hold water, that is a pain. Now, I don't know if the screens were finer, like a typical screen, it would work better. I just don't know. Maybe I'll have to play around with this some, drill out all these holes and make them bigger or something. I don't know. But other than that, those two little things, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It works fine. And I think, like I said, this one I did find 0.7 grams in the finer stuff that was with the classifiers, but I think again that's because of these classifiers, the way they're designed is the holes are so small compared to everything else, the area amount of them that they cover, that if this was fixed, you would probably recover that 0.7 grams. Maybe not, I don't know. I'll have to do another test with this. I am going to be re-reviewing this, as well as doing a first review of my gold cube, which I never really did. I've just run some material through it to show you how it catches and how good it is, but I haven't really done a real in-depth review of it. So I'll have to do one on each of these to show more of these flaws and hopefully find more, because that's one of the problems when you do a review on equipment, is you're only using it really one time, and then later on as you use it more and more, circumstances change. Like in this one where I was trying to use it stationary with no help. The last review I did with this, I had my son helping me. This time it was by myself. So, but this is only about 125 bucks. I think it's 129.95. They do discounts every once in a while, so it's about $130. Now, the gold cube, a couple problems I had with it is one, I've only used it 3 times. This was the 3rd time, and the pump is dead. So I tried to use it again later in the day, and it just wouldn't fire up. I mean, I just could not get it. I took it all apart, put it back together, wouldn't fire up. It's just a dead, and that's not too good. And considering as much as they charge for a replacement, that's pretty bad. I just ordered one off of Amazon that'll be here in a couple days as a replacement, but that kind of sucks that, you know, a couple days later you have to buy one. But other than that, this thing chews through material. The footage from the Gold Rush Nugget bucket, I believe, was a little bit over 1 hour. And then I edited it down to whatever you saw, but just running the material was 1 hour video that it took me an hour just to run the material. This one was, I believe, 20 minutes. So it took me a third of as much time, and it wasn't even that, I think it was 15 minutes. So a quarter amount of time, and it recovered more gold. So, but it is 4 times as expensive. So it depends on your time. I mean, me personally, I could spend all day on the Gold Rush Nugget bucket. It doesn't bug me. I don't need to speed through it. Now, if I had a giant, massive pile of Paydirt to go through, I would probably go with this for 400 bucks. But then again, this, you know, you have to classify this one down. This one kind of classifies it for you if you could get it to work right. So, overall, I was pretty impressed with both. I was really impressed about how much this captured compared to this, because I really thought the gold cube was going to blow this one out of the water. You know, if I'd have known I had 8.359 grams of gold in this thing, I would have guessed this one would have probably recovered about 6. And then this one would have recovered 8.3. You know, I thought there was going to be a much bigger difference. And also, if this thing would have screened properly, or maybe, I mean, you know, it might have been error on my part. Maybe I just wasn't running enough water through it. But, you know, if that would have if it would have captured those 0.7 in this bottom, it would have been wonderful. And I still love my Gold Rush Nugget bucket. I am going to make some changes to it though, because I'm not going to be using it in the field really. And if I wanted to use one in the field, I'd probably just buy a second one. But this one I want to make into an at-home one. So I need to change some things about this, and I'll make videos about those as I change them. But overall, I was pretty impressed with both of them. So I've got no real complaints. They did their job, they captured it, and I did not go back and pan out all the material. I refuse to see if they captured all of it. You know, like I said, I am going to be doing reviews of both of them where I will have a set amount of gold in them, but until that time, I was pretty impressed with both. You know, I'm really impressed with this one and how well it did compared to this one, and really impressed with this one and how fast it went through that material, even with the pump that went out twice during it. And I also want to do a special shout out to Lynch Mining for hooking my wife up. You know, my wife's always trying to get me good Paydirt. She knows, you know, Lynch is one of the better ones I've reviewed, so I'm really glad they hooked her up with this, you know, because I know Lynch Mining had some good products, and, you know, and actually I said before I had reviewed Belmont, but I've never reviewed Belmont. I actually reviewed their Superstition Mountain, so I had never played with any Belmont. So I still don't know what a typical bag is like, but I know what their 5-gallon bucket is like, and it was really, really good, and I was impressed with it. And again, I just want to thank Lynch Mining. They really hooked my wife up. It was probably the best Christmas gift she could have gotten me. It's just really sad that it's, you know, 6 months later, I'm just now getting to it. So, thanks everyone as always. Make sure you hit the little Miller Prospecting sign down here to subscribe. Leave a comment and things like that. And again, I will be doing reviews on both of these very shortly. Well, not too shortly. I got some Paydirt I got to run through, but soon enough, I'll be doing reviews on both of these with a set amount of golds to see exactly how much they capture. So, thanks as always. Everyone, happy panning. Well, I almost forgot to declare a winner. Obviously, the Gold Cube won, but I am going to put in a small disclaimer. The Gold Rush Nugget bucket was really put out of its environment. This was not invented for some garage gold mining operation like I put it through. It's really for out in the field with you and your family, shoveling dirt into it and recovering gold. And it does an exceptional job at that. I mean, it recovered, you know, 8 grams. I mean, technically it recovered 7.5 because it probably would have lost that 0.7. So the Gold Cube did recover 0.150 more gold in it, and it also would have recovered the 0.7 that this one lost. But this was in its element. The Gold Cube was designed to be indoors. It can be brought outside, but it really wasn't. It was designed to be indoors with a pump and all that. And this, it might not have won if I'd have been out in the stream and I had to bring this as well as a pump, some stands, and still need to bring a shovel and a battery and everything else that goes along with it just to set it up. And the setup for it is a long time if you're out in the field. Getting those legs level and everything else, making sure it's level, making sure you have a water source for the pump. While this would have taken me all of about 30 seconds to set up. Just drop it on the ground and tell the kids to start shoveling dirt into it. So, you know, this was put out of its environment. So, you know, technically I should call it a draw, but I am going to, for gold recovery, the Gold Cube did win. It recovered more gold, but, you know, like I said, with a small disclaimer. I'm not about to go in the stream and compare the two, but I gotta say, this really, really surprised me. I really thought this was gonna get blown out. When I saw my numbers with this, I really thought, okay, this is a 10-gram bag, and this is gonna recover another 2 grams, but it really didn't. I mean, I did lose 0.7 in this, and it recovered it in this one as well as another 0.15. So, you know, 0.850 gram difference isn't a huge amount when you're considering, you know, how expensive this is, what this is designed for, and what this is designed for. And this is more of a portable thing. You know, it's not designed to capture everything. It's designed to be quick and easy and get the most of it. And it did an exceptional job. So, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below. And I'll be back in a couple of days with a Paydirt review. Or maybe something different. We'll have to see. Actually, it is sort of a Paydirt review, but not really. So you'll have to see in a couple of days. All right. Thanks as always.